live. Let's do this. I think we are live. Welcome, everyone, to our book study brought to you by the paying members of the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. I am John Lavenia here in person with you right now, and we are covering chapters 3 and 4 of the book that so many people not just requested, but demanded that we review. That's right. I'm looking at you, Lindsay and Julia, and some of you peoples. I see Cecilia holding it up. Yes, it's Integrity is Everything by Moi. And last week we covered, and again, this has been a little bit weird for me, right? I'll tell you what, another thing that's weird for me about it is usually when I go through and I highlight authors and things that I want to kind of take up, like issues that I want to take up in our discussions, I'm usually towards the top of the paragraphs. I noticed that a lot of authors kind of write with better grammar. Mine was very conversational. And so they kind of present, here's the point of the paragraph, here's the main issue, and now I'll elaborate. Whereas with me, it's like I kind of warm up and I find myself highlighting the last line of the paragraph. I'm like, all right, so you're winding up there. It's like a whole different approach to writing, I suppose. I didn't intend it that way, but it's just how it came out. But last week we covered Meet the Guru, which of course is not me, unless I'm talking to myself. It's you, and you can own that for yourself or not. And we also covered the difference as we walked through the open air bazaar, just me and Lindsay walking through the open air bazaar and and dealing with the people there in that crazy scene. Tonight we're going on a mission. In fact, I talked about this here with our mastermind group members today because I was just kind of inspired by what came up for me, and I'd like to hear what came up for you guys as it relates to that chapter. It's kind of traditional here that we start with open microphones. I do see Missy and Catherine are unmuted. You guys are welcome to chime in, assuming you've read the chapter, right? Otherwise, you're going to get my dissertation on it tonight. Straight out of the author's mouth. But who had some ideas they wanted to share on chapter 3, On a Mission?
I reread it this morning. I read it last week. Is this Be Do Have, or is that, what is that?
No, that's 3 Magic Words. That's next. We're doing that one after we just talk about this one for a little bit.
I'm sorry. I did reread it this morning, but I've been mugging myself to death, so I forgot.
You've been mugging yourself to death? What does that mean?
Low-hanging mugging myself to death.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, doing e-commerce stuff. Yeah, business. All right, well, business is good. Well, you're on a mission.
I reread it this morning.
Okay.
I have a mission.
Yeah. And here's the point of that chapter. How does it feel, Missy, and everyone, now that you're on a mission, assuming you are, right? What's the difference between like just drudgery and obligatory, semi-purposeful actions, doing enough to not get fired or whatever, versus, I'm on a mission. Like, I got to go slay dragons. Like right now, give me a sword. Give me 2 swords.
Uplifted energy that I didn't have before. I'm exploding with joy and ideas, and I just can't do enough. It's such a pleasure. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing and mind-growing.
Alive. You're alive, right? And Bob corroborates that, right, Bob? Yeah, we've had our little sidebar discussions. No, we haven't. But look, that's validation. And that's not only self-acknowledgement when we stop to recognize it, right? And we actually look, it's like, oh my goodness. In fact, I recorded a little video this morning while I was walking out of my father's little tree grotto or whatever. And he retired down here into lower Delaware. So it's very peaceful and quiet, unless you get by the beach, then it's mayhem. But I was like, you know what? Sometimes we got to stop and smell the, whatever this tree is. It was some sort of a fir tree. And it didn't smell like anything, but still, we got to stop and smell the fir, right? Because if I don't acknowledge that, then I can always just go like constant striving, one thing to the next, and the drudgery of it. But when we acknowledge ourselves, so it's one thing to have a mission. It's another thing to notice that, oh my goodness, I'm on a mission, right? Because I could just as easily overlook that as a workaholic type person, right? So, and we're our own worst critics. Just me and Missy, nobody else. But just me and Missy. We're our own worst critics, right? Thank you, Missy. Who else has some thoughts that you want to share on on this chapter 3, on a mission. Come on out, Lindsay. We got an intimate crowd here tonight. We probably don't even need to raise hands. Just walk in like you own the place and start talking.
People on a mission play to win.
Oh, yeah.
It's that simple.
What's the alternative? Playing to not lose or not playing at all? Right?
Stay in your comfort zone, your comfy little piece of security.
Right.
You gotta let go. Like the trapeze person lets go to go to the next one. You gotta let it go, and you gotta have faith.
Right. Faith in what?
Purpose.
And that you can actually fulfill it. That you can do something. Right. Something can be done about it. You are able. You are able. We talked about that a bit in the next chapter. Right.
Oh, am I mixing the two up?
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, it's all good. If that's what's inspiring you right now. Chapter 3 was kind of a warm up for chapter 4.
Okay. Yeah. You got to know in your head that what is it you said? You can't babysit the week. You got to do your thinking and know that you're going places before you can. It's right here. Yeah. I say to the people to come to me for business training, I'm not here to babysit the week. I'm here to assist people who are already successful in their minds. So
when I read it the first time, I was scared.
Right.
That was the first time I read it, but then I never thought I'd be having this conversation on this, but I'm so glad we are. But I never thought I'd be saying to John, don't babysit the week. No.
Well, that's an interesting thing. I actually got that. That kind of hit me once when I was noticing what I was doing with business activities, working with other millionaires, and how they didn't suffer like weakness or like we're going to sit here and bemoan secondary and tertiary problems because we don't have a goal and we're not on a mission, and we're just going to encumber ourselves with all these considerations and non-doingness. Right. And look at me, I'm a victim and I'm so weak and I can't. Oh my goodness. And look, people they can go pay therapists and they can talk like that. And the therapist will sit there and nod. And, oh yeah, tell me more about that. And so no, that's not, I'm not your therapist, I guess is what I was saying with that.
I think you said it quite perfectly.
Okay. Yeah, because and I don't know if you were around, Lindsay, probably not. So I used to run this this call. It was called the Black Belt Marketing Call. We're going back 20 years. I did it for like 10 years, which is now morphed into the John Lavenia Success Mastermind, which we experience all the time. But the call was called Black Belt Marketing, and the rules for the call, it was a business-oriented call. It was a marketing group. We'd have like 1,000 people a week tuning in via conference call. We had like $1,000 phone bills back in those days, right? People calling in from Australia and everywhere else. And the rules for the call, listen to this. So we're going to have our topic discussion. Okay. The rules for the call is if you made money this week in your business, then we want to hear you. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and how much money you made this week. Hey, it's Bob from New York. Just made $22,000 this week. Glad I'm here, right? And we would go through like popcorn, money. Everybody's demonstrating we are in action. We're doing the thing, right? Now, the flip side of that rule was if you didn't make money this week, don't even introduce yourself. We're not even going to hear your name this week. Sit back, relax, and listen, and be sure you qualify to introduce yourself on the call next week, right? And then when I got into the discussion, I would be like, guys, the rule for this call is take what you like and leave the rest. And if I say anything that offends you, you'll get over it. Yeah, that's it. You'll get over it. But people stepped up. Right? People were so accustomed to people just going into agreement with their limitations, their stories, their I can't. And not on that call. Right. And I think and maybe I've softened up a bit. I don't know. I think I'm more I don't know what I am. But the fact that I know there's a lot of people who are new on the path of this whole self-mastery thing, which is hard work, by the way. This is not for the weak, right, Lindsay? I mean, you don't show up here and just talk about philosophy or whatever, and then go do whatever you were doing yesterday that didn't work, right? Otherwise, what's the point, right? Self-mastery is a tough game, and I haven't arrived, right? So perhaps with age, I've gotten better like a fine cheese or something, but
Fine, fine.
wine, is that what it is? I'm aging like
Don't want to cut the cheese.
I don't drink alcohol, so I don't know about wine. I know about cheese, some good, formaggio, some good Romano. And yeah, okay, very good. Thank you, Lindsay. Any other thoughts on any other opening comments on this?
Not at the moment.
Cool. Anybody else?
Hi,
John.
John.
Yes, Julia.
Okay, lots of, there are lots of little nuggets in here. Sorry, my voice is just going here. But one thing that I always think is really important, you've got never allow other people to sell you their belief systems. Excuse me. And, I've talked to a lot of people lately about other topics, and they've been saying, well, what if I do this? Other people will think that. And it's like, who else cares, Their opinion isn't any more valid than yours. And if you see yourself as a success, then that's who you are. You don't need to worry about whether the neighbors think you're a success or whether John Lavenia is disappointed in you. You just have to take care of what you think about yourself.
Right. Wow, beautiful. And that whole chapter opens up with the whole idea of herd mentality. Conformity. Yeah. There's a Bible quote, be not conformed to this world.
Although I will say that I like it when you approve of what I do.
Oh, right. Well,
I was thinking that too.
but you know what?
Like
You know
strokes, right?
But you're so easy to validate, Julia, because you're just, look, you're my kind of people, right? On purpose people. That doesn't mean you get everything right and that you don't blunder. Come on. Thank goodness you blunder, right? Otherwise I'd be looking at myself thinking, what the hell is wrong with me? Right. So yeah, it's not about perfection. You had something to say on that, Lindsay?
Oh, I said I kind of like it when you approve too, so I can't say anything.
Right.
Kind of makes you feel kind of like, whew. But you'll
Right.
get the truth. You'll get the truth, like an honest answer from when John, if he approves of something, he's not BSing you. He means it. If it sucks, he's going to tell you it sucks. Try again. I mean, he's not rude about it. It's just that's just how he rolls. I guess I don't.
Well, Lindsay, you and I have a business together,
Mhm.
right? One of our businesses, and so if my intent is for you to be successful in business,
Mhm.
which also helps me be successful in business as part of the crew, right? Then if it sucks, we need to confront that. I've never solved a problem by non-confront, right? And confront the problem, and there it is. And if I put something out, look, I've got critics, right? What did Albert Hubbard say? To avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, be nothing, right? So, but the intention behind it, right? I get to sit here and be a critic. No, I'm not interested in sitting here and being your critic. I'm interested in you winning. And so let's look objectively at, here's the product. Product is good. Product is shit. Either way, let's look, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't mean to imply that this, for those who are not in the mastermind, I didn't mean to imply that John sits there and pronounces judgments on all of us. It feels good when other people also think you're doing well, but you can't. I mean, the point of that sentence and of so much that we've learned is you have to rely on what, like you feel like you're on the right path. Don't worry about everybody else around you. John knows a lot, and those of us who are in the mastermind appreciate that and learn from John as well as from other people. It's not like all of us agree with John all the time or bow to him. We don't do that, but we do respect you, John.
Thank you, my friend. And yeah, I'm not looking for devotees. That's not the point of all this. Is that welcome to the Church of the New Truth, and I'm your grand poobah or something. Not interested. Although I hear there's some great tax breaks. Starting religion. In fact, my friend Mike Sheffield, who runs a consulting firm for people who are starting up like multi-level marketing companies, Jungle Juice and Magic Potions and stuff. He says starting a network marketing company is the closest thing you can do to starting a religion, but without the tax benefits. So Yeah, maybe just one step further and we'll be home. Thank you guys. And yeah, who else has some thoughts on chapter 3 or questions about it, things that came up? Catherine, you got an idea?
I was just, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just working on my goal card today, trying to kind of narrow that down because I've never been that specific. So that was really interesting, and it was an empowering thing. But I was wondering, one of the things I'm struggling with is, making mugs. It's, what I'm doing right now. I mean, that's not my dream job. So how do you work around knowing that this isn't my dream job, but I'm still trying to achieve these certain goals? How do you keep motivation?
Okay, very good. Great question. Has anybody else felt that way? It's like, okay, well, my passion in life isn't necessarily to create incessantly mugs, t-shirts, stuff, print on demand products via, e-commerce modalities. Like I wasn't born to do this per se.
It's just climbing up the tree. It's just pulling yourself up.
There we go.
That's all it is.
Okay. So when we get on a mission, great question, Catherine, when we get on a mission, we're seeing the self-determined worthy ideal. Here's the worthy ideal, worthy to us. Okay. Via whatever mechanisms, modalities, plural. Okay. So like I've been, as Lindsay and many know here, I've been active with various forms of marketing. Let's say, for example, email marketing, list building, and where you have people who subscribe to your email list for the newsletter and for the offers, plural, offers. Okay. And that's how we monetize the list. So here's value, offer. Oh, you don't want that offer? Value, offer. Okay. And so what I have found is that as we remain on purpose, on a mission, so to speak, and we gain momentum here, next thing you know, we met a person over here. I mean, look, all of us were strangers at one point. My wife was a stranger at one point. Okay. But as we start to attract other people, we have other combinations that come together. Here's a new enterprise, right? I didn't know Lindsay a few years ago. Now she does business with me in this enterprise, right? Linda's here, right? Same story. A lot of you here who have discovered this whole conversation via e-commerce, right? I am someone who has become known in that space as someone who's able to help entrepreneurs, not just in e-commerce, but e-commerce is booming. And I help entrepreneurs apply principles into whatever business they want to execute. Great. What other combinations can come from that? I've got some of the best friends I've ever had in my life and will ever have right here in this mastermind group. We were all strangers at one point. Most of us have never met each other in person, ever. And yet we've done millions of dollars worth of business together. So, and they're like brothers and sisters, right? I mean, I could show up at Lindsay's house right now down in Alabama, walk in, eat a tomato sandwich, and it's like she's my sister. Like I've known her forever. Never met her in person. Actually, Lindsay, I did meet you in person. We did an event. Where was that? Vegas or something, or somewhere. I don't know.
You're always welcome at my house. Yes.
Yeah. So like, that's incidental, right? The main thing is who's showing up. So back to Catherine's question. Here is a stepping stone, okay, that can lead to other combinations. And then perhaps, maybe or maybe not, right? So let's look at our crystal ball here. All right, so now it's a couple years down the road. You've built up this empire with coffee cups, t-shirts, stuff, which isn't your self-determined life purpose or whatever. You've got other people working on that. You've delegated. And now you've got two other things working here. And now your original goal that got you on a mission, initially just to get out of the deficit condition or whatever unsatisfactory condition motivated you at the outset, right? Now that goal has been exceeded 2, 5, 10 times. And the amount of energy that we have to focus on these initial stages of, coffee cups, t-shirts, whatever, right? It's so minuscule because it's practically on autopilot. Now we're playing bigger games, bigger combinations. So I look at it as a stepping stone. And as long as it's not off purpose, here's the barometer for me, Catherine and everyone, as long as it doesn't take me off my mission, I am barking up the wrong tree and I know it. Oh, now I got a problem. Now, barking up the tree and not knowing it is also a problem. And I did that for years. And that's why we've got to be willing to look. We've got to be willing to say, I'm on the right path, or this sucks, right? That doesn't, by the way, that doesn't mean if it's not easy that it sucks. No, success isn't easy. Okay. But I'm not barking up the wrong tree either. This is on purpose, and I could see a light at the end of the tunnel. What do you think, Cecilia? Because thank you, Catherine. Cecilia, you got a thought about that?
Yeah, well, I'm on a mission. So like Catherine, I didn't think about like cups and mugs and t-shirts and stuff, but this going into this, it just felt like I opened up a can of worms, because I've been always wanting to have a business, and I tried little things here and there, and it's just like, I was just so focused on my day job or what's going on with my life that I didn't really like pursue it as hard as I probably should have or could have. But now it's just like I'm more focused. And actually I got my registration papers last week and my EIN number. And so like I'm ready to open up a bank account now. So I'm on a mission, and my birthday's coming up, and I'm like, I want to launch it on my birthday. I went back on social media. I had, a couple thousand friends, and now I'm like, okay, where are all these people now? So I just got off of social media before the pandemic even hit. So I'm kind of like, I just went MIA on everybody because I was just too overwhelmed with stuff. So, but I plan on using those cups, the bugs, whatever it is that we got going, that we could drop ship. I'm going to implement that into my plan until I actually build the store how I want it. And I got like, I guess, different storefronts, you should say, like, Shopify and Etsy. And, so I'm kind of like, okay, how do I do this now? So I need a little help, but I'm on a mission. My thing is I want to have it set up by my birthday. So that's in like, I guess 9 days.
9 days.
Well, the 21st, I think.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Well, happy birthday in advance. And you're already a cherished and celebrated member of this group, and you contribute. That's the thing. And I get to talk with you often. So Linda, did you have a comment? Linda Landry?
Well, I just got in the house, so I was driving.
Okay.
The one thing that came up for me was the leadership part of it. Like you have to really be on a strong mission so that you can show people that, you're serious about this and you're going to attract them. And there was a line in there, opportunities come through people, not from people.
Mm-hmm. Major.
That really hit me.
Yeah. So what Linda's talking about and what Cecilia was just talking about is, think of it like the size of the battery. All right. So here's the work. All right. So we could say it's an electric motor or a light bulb or whatever we're intending to do the work as we run electricity through it or something. Okay. And so here's the work, which we can interpret as the business, the income producing activities, whatever it happens to be. Working harder, which is what a lot of people assume they have to do. They got to really muster up a lot of force behind this, right? To turn on that light bulb or to turn that motor, right? And then what? Burn out. And I'm already putting 100% throttle on just all these things just to survive. How could I do more? I'm already overwhelmed. Has anyone ever felt like that? Of course, right? And so here's my argument then. When we get on a mission, we're not working harder. We're just putting a bigger power source in. We're just changing out this weak ass battery that's dragging its ass through life. And we're saying, here's the nuclear power plant. And now look at this insignificant little stuff, right? In fact, because we have now a much bigger potential to execute and to produce, we can now also free up some of those attention particles, right? Because you only get so much per day that we're going to spend each day. We can free up some of those to actually confront and look and discern. This is worth my time. This is not. This is on purpose. This is barking up the wrong tree. This is a distraction. This is a barrier. Squashed, right? Moving on, right? Got the account set up, whatever it happens to be, right? But the mountains become molehills when we've got a grand enough vision. If we go to the text here real quick, let's do that. So I did underline some stuff here for y'all. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty bold, kind of right out of the gate. Is that if we've conformed, if we're in this belief system where we're the weak or something, then all of this is, yeah, we're not even willing to look. We've got to be willing to look. And what are we going to find when we look? We're going to find discernment. Most people aren't willing to look at their situation, just harder, right? Put more fuel on the fire, burn yourself out. That's not what this is about. It's about changing the power source. And what does it come down to? Definiteness of purpose. We talked about this for those of us who've been in the book study for at least a year or 9 months. We went through Napoleon Hill's classic Think and Grow Rich. He talked about definiteness of decision and definiteness of purpose. So when Catherine brought up specificity, that's huge, because if I ask somebody, what do you want? Which is a terribly profound question. And if they look at me like a deer in headlights, by the way, this is all from my own personal experience. This isn't just theory. And I've been the deer in headlights, plenty enough. Okay. But when we do that, we kind of really don't have a shot. We're running on this, we're just dragging this battery around. Where's the nuclear power plant? I don't know. Right? What do you want? If we're vague, we get to be vague. Right? But once we do know, once we've got that definiteness of purpose, and as Napoleon Hill said, a definiteness of decision, the whole game changes. We're going to any lengths to get it. We play to win instead of playing to not lose, if we play at all. My whole entree into personal development and all this philosophy and psychology and personal, success kind of stuff was out of extreme high necessity level. It was via 12-step fellowships. As an adolescent running the streets of New Jersey, almost dead at age 15, right? I didn't have a whole lot of time to Q&A, or quibble with the price of success. It was like, you get your ass on the straight and narrow, or you know what, your funeral's coming up here pretty soon. That's how bad it was for me. So going to any lengths, this is that phrase right there, going to any lengths, is something I got from sitting in rooms with a bunch of, drunks and drug addicts getting their life together. Because if they don't, we went to funerals a lot. All right. So that's what I mean by going to any lengths. Nothing vague about that. We can't simply abandon an habitual way of thinking without replacing it with a new one. I know this struck a chord with Missy the other day, because she brought it up to me in a sidebar conversation, something we were having, where the idea of just abandoning some belief, which some motivational speakers will tell you, right? To just drop a belief. All right, well, can you drop a habit? Can you just go ahead and drop it? Or is that void going to be filled with some other habit? Yes, it's going to be filled. There are very few vacuums in the universe, right? In fact, I think I mentioned one here. Black hole. Are you a black hole? No. So something's going to go in that space, something resourceful or not, right? But it's not going to be a vacuum. So there has to be, for us to supplant habitual non-productive thought patterns or belief systems, we're going to have to invent or adopt more resourceful ones. And so that comes right down to the why, a significant reason, significant to you. It has to mean something for you. Is that selfish? No. Okay. Why is it relevant to you to make the 10,000 a month or whatever's inspiring you? What is inspiration? In spirit. Inspired, in spirit. Again, we got a whole lot more power now, and it's not drudgery and it's not force. It's powerful. It's a big difference between power and force. Power, I can go at warp speed and be cool as a cucumber. Powerful. Force, oh, that's different. Let's burn yourself out. Are you inspired or are you forcing? Right? It's one or the other. And I can flip-flop on that. Okay. But you see the difference here, just based on the words that we're talking about here. So, and as was already mentioned, we can't be comfortable and do this, right? We gotta jump, okay? Because nobody knows how to reach a goal until they've reached it. Otherwise, you would have already reached it. So So great. Are you ready? Of course you're not ready. I'm not ready. Nobody's ready. Nobody's ready. Deal with it, right? I shall not be denied. So, and I know some of us have had this conversation recently. We're talking about getting businesses going, the idea of a guaranteed future outcome, the idea that it is impossible to fail. I've already got it, right? It's that physiology. It's that physiological and emotional and spiritual state. The only thing we lack in this exact moment is the physical demonstration. You know, here's the Lamborghini in the driveway or something. Okay, so that isn't in the driveway yet, but the whole rest of it is already a foregone conclusion. And we're going to talk about that more in the next chapter. But this essential knowingness that magnetizes others to you, this is indispensable. So like we were just talking about with Catherine. So a coffee mug or some product being sold via the interwebs is not the end. It's a stepping stone and a means towards greater ends, plural. And all opportunities come through other people, not from, but through. I know I said that in here somewhere. Right? So what is leadership? If we're going to be leading people or attracting people towards us, because I know a lot of people like to talk about law of attraction. Okay. Well, what is this about? This is about being a leader, leading. What are we leading people to? That's the question. No sane person would follow you unless you had a destination. So what is a leader? It's someone with a self-determined destination. Hey guys, where do you want to go for dinner? Oh, I don't know. Maybe, the taco place sounds all right. No, I'm not sure about that. Maybe Chinese food and Chinese food. Hey guys, Mama's lasagna down the street. Holy crap. Have you guys ever had Mama's lasagna? We should do that. All right. Let's go. Let's go to Mama's lasagna. Sold. Leader, somebody with a destination, not a maybe, nothing vague. Mama's lasagna. Definiteness of purpose, right? Just enrolled everybody in that. So that opportunity came through someone, in this case, came through a leader. All right. And now that reciprocates, right? Because now if you're attracting others, right, into whatever business combinations, life, relationships, look, we're entrepreneurs here. That doesn't mean that the entirety of our life is all about, transactions that happen over the internet or something. Okay. It's the same person showing up to do the e-commerce thing that's showing up, with my wife, my daughter, my other community projects, right? Do you think the world needs more victims? No, it needs leaders. So be that, right? And so we're going to find that opportunities come through people who are attracted to us, better combinations, because I can't do everything myself. No man's an island. So someone with a destination has license to lead others. Otherwise, why would anyone follow you? And that's why we've got to hit the reset button and forgive ourselves for all the off-purpose or missionless stuff that we've done up to this point. Otherwise, we just get to recreate the same mediocrity and enroll everybody else into that. They're already enrolled, by the way, right? A lot of people are on the slow boat to nowhere together, but at least they get to be social. We're going to go ahead and break the mold here. Okay, so here's where we get into this whole idea of primary, secondary, tertiary consideration. So primary, here's the prime consideration. Where are you going? What do you want? Why are you showing up? These are the primary questions. All the other how-to stuff, right? When should I do the thing? Or, what's the techniques? Yeah, that's cool. Okay. But without the vision, then all that stuff, all that secondary and tertiary means third in line, right? So primary, secondary, tertiary, 1, 2, 3, right? All that secondary or tertiary stuff we're wasting our breath if you don't know your goal, right? So let's go ahead and figure that out. This is more on the leadership, people being heard. We're going to get into communication skills more as we continue through the book, but just making sure that people know that they're heard, acknowledging people. And I don't know if you guys pick up on that. I had a client of mine tell me the other day, John, you're amazing at creating space for people. People know they're heard. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, I know I like to be heard. So it's kind of like a golden rule thing, right? You ever get ignored? That doesn't feel good. I don't ignore people. So here is the formula. And I debated with myself about sharing this because I've been around this stuff for so long. I was like, doesn't everybody know this? Well, no, no, because to know and not to do is not to know. So here's the formula. You guys have all read this for yourselves, right? So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. I will tell you that a lot of people put realistic in there, but isn't that dangerously close to achievable? Like if we're saying it's achievable, why do we have to say it's realistic? No, that's kind of a watered down version. Here's the real version of the SMART goals formula: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. And I would argue that relevant is probably the most important part, because now we're getting into the emotion of it, right? So specific, what specifically do you want? Right? The silver BMW with the big engine and the leather seats and right? So specifically what? Great, measurable. How much does it cost? Fantastic, achievable. Does anybody else drive silver BMWs around here on planet Earth? Oh yeah, hundreds of thousands of people do. Okay, great. So that's achievable. All right, relevant. Why do you want it? Because all goals are based on experience, experiential and emotional knowingness, right? So how does it feel? How does it feel? Now, what do you think? How does it feel now that you got the goal? You're driving the silver BMW or whatever it happens to be. How does it feel? And then how much time do you want that to take? Most people give themselves too much time. Parkinson's law: work expands to fill the time allotted for it. Again, this is not selfishness. This whole idea of relevance, even if your goal happens to include take the kids to vacation or something, that includes other people, fine, but it has to be relevant to you. I can't set my wife's goals for her. She can't set mine for me. And yet a lot of the stuff is commingled because we're a family. All right. So in fact, we're going to get into this later in the book, the idea that you achieving your goals is one of the most unselfish things you can do, because as we already revealed, I don't think the world has any use for more victims or something, more people that need, assistance or that are dependent or whatever. Steve Covey in his classic book talked about 3 levels of dependence or independence, and the lowest was dependence, the middle was independence, which is where a lot of people think is the holy grail. He said, no, above that is interdependence. Back to the idea that all opportunities come through people. How much more? Look, we got problems in this world, right? Can I accomplish them? I don't care how independent, how successful I am as an independent being, right? We can't solve enormous problems as like one guy, right? Even Jesus, right? Here's the apostles and it grew from there, right? So like, and I'm not manifesting fish and loaves or anything, right? So who the hell am I, right? One guy? No, interdependence, right? But that successful and interdependent group is made up, the component parts of it are independent, successful people. That is unselfish. Go make a spectacle of yourself. Go be able. And now you get to be part of the solution in a much bigger sphere. So this is not selfishness at all. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up. If I get more, somebody else gets less. There's only so much pie, Who am I to ask for more pie? You poor, pie deprived people. No, we got to let all that stuff go. Okay, so here we're talking about the power of thought and where this actually leads, right? We're talking about the law of laws now. It's cause and effect, right? The thought precedes the deed. And everything we're experiencing right now has been built based on law. It's you can't break the law. You can only break yourself against the law. Okay, but you think about every invention that we have. I use Thomas Edison as an example, right? He had an idea of a world that was illuminated with electricity. He was dissatisfied with hot oil lamps and candles or whatever, right? So we're creating something from the no thing. It's pretty amazing. We write this down as a reminder. These are your words here. You pick the words, and we're definite and we're specific and it's measurable and it's achievable and it's relevant, et cetera, right? But we do that. We put a date on it by day, month, year. Okay, and this is a statement to ourselves. Consider it a contract you're making with yourself. And you'll remind yourself again and again and again throughout the day. It could be on a card, could be on your phone, as long as it's constant spaced repetition and you keep the carrot in front of your face. What did Henry Ford say? Obstacles are those frightful things we see when we take our eyes off the goal. So keep the carrot in front. Oh, speak of the devil. There you go. And this is what I think Lindsay was talking about before, or one of the things she was talking about, as far as like the week, the so-called week. If someone wants to bemoan their circumstances and ask 10 million questions about stuff that doesn't really matter, I can end the whole conversation with one question. What's your goal? They never know it. Ever, 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 ever. It is so predictable. It is so predictable. See this, if you got people in your life that want to play victim, okay, and you confront them with, so what's your goal? They never know it. So we could sit around and talk about all these secondary problems. It's a great subterfuge. It's a great position to take, to sort of validate the idea that I can't because I've got these circumstances or I've got these secondary problems. But the real reason you can't is because you don't know what you want. If you really knew what you wanted, well, we would get on with it, wouldn't we? Give you a couple other tips here in this chapter, and we're going to move on. My goodness, it's 41 minutes past the hour already. So when we're visualizing this goal, so let's say we've got our goal written out. It's smart, okay, and we know where we're going. Okay, that's cool. So we're on a mission. What does it feel like to accomplish that mission? And what are these conversations that you're going to be having? Remember, other people are involved in this now. There's all opportunities come through other people, customers, family members, right? We get fulfillment in life. If you were just alone floating in space, where's the fulfillment in that, right? So we're going to have relationships with other people. In fact, we already do. All right, great. So picture you're having the conversation with your spouse. Now that you've got the money and the Lamborghini and the whatever it is, okay? It's your stuff. Okay, but now you got the stuff, right? What conversation are you having now that you've got the $1 million in the investment accounts? Now that you've got the family trip booked, now that you've got the private schooling for your children, right? So you're sitting there having coffee in the morning, kids tutor comes in, you're talking with your spouse about, the other activities you'll be doing that day and how happy you are now that the kids are getting proper education, right? And that you've got the time and money freedom to be the primary influence in their lives. I'm just making this up because we homeschool, right? Myself and my wife, and we've got the tutor that comes in and all that and the curriculum, and it's like stuff worth learning. And my goodness, my daughter is, here I am bragging about my daughter, but she's like ready for college and she's not 11 yet, but at least she thinks she's ready for college. And we'll see if that even needs to happen, but she's already running a business. But visualizing your interactions that you will have with the people you already have relationships with, that's kind of a cheat. Okay. And it's a really good cheat, right? You kind of bring that into your visualization because it's something that's already real for you. Again, the more you can make this real for you, and this is something you're involved in every day, is the relationships you have already in casual conversation with people you already know. I think with Julia and Lindsay, when they were talking earlier about, how they appreciate when I appreciate them, perhaps that's what they're doing. I just made my biggest statistics ever this month, right? Congratulations, Julia. That's awesome. Great. Take that. All right. Or invent it. Right. And if I'm one of the people that you picture yourself having that conversation with, fine. Right. Let me be part of your experience with that. That's beautiful. Right. Use every tool you got, every unfair advantage you could possibly have to sell this to yourself. This is the biggest sale you can make. Sell you that your goal is a guaranteed future outcome. Guaranteed. You shall not be denied. And Julia also mentioned this. Was it Julia? Right. Having people sell you their belief systems. I heard a guy, the late John Kalan, say, you cannot serve people if you allow them to sell you their belief systems, unless you just intend to serve them coffee or lunch. Then they could sell you whatever they want, right? So you're not the waiter. Okay. You're the leader. Big difference. My goodness, we gotta move on. Couple other thoughts I gave on leadership there, and this is really about the induction of having people enroll into a vision. Because remember, where there is no vision, the people perish. That includes you. If you're not on a mission, you perish. If you enroll others into a mission, they can get on board with that mission, further the bigger mission, right? The purpose of why we're showing up in this corporation, in this enterprise, in this family, right? and people can be the best that they can be, but they'll have the feeling they've done it themselves, right? That's the best leadership. Whereas like I maybe illuminated the path, saved you some time, but you did it, right? So yeah, here's some simple actions that you can do at the end of each chapter. Don't leave home without a goal card on your person. Don't go to sleep tonight without having made one. You can always rewrite it. I don't care what you write it on. I put it on my phone, right? Because it's always in my pocket. Okay. Review it often. Rewrite as necessary. That could be every day. That's fine. Oh, I don't like that word. I got a better word in there. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's change that out. Great. It's your stuff. Subscribe to magazines that enhance your vision, right? So here's the fitness magazine, which is beautiful, by the way, right? Why do guys sit around looking at muscle magazines, right? I can tell you it's not for any prurient interest. It's a, oh, look at the chiseled, abs and inspiration. That's what it's about. Inspiration. It's like, yeah, you know what? I got that same kind of genetics. What's their workout that they're doing? All right, I got to hit the gym, right? So that's seeing. Here's a result that you could have to some degree, right? And some of these guys are, juiced up on every kind of drug and whatever, but what you get the point is inspiration. Okay, so that would be like a fitness thing. Luxury lifestyle magazines, right? Here's the brochure for the car, the luxury homes, whatever. All right. Moving into 3 magic words. Thank you guys for going on this journey with me. I got so many things out of rereading this book. This chapter here is just like a nuclear bomb going off for me. So the 3 magic words, everybody here, who you've read their chapter, you already know the 3 magic words are be, do, have. Be, do, have. Those 3 words in that order. But we watched the DVD, right? We watched the triumphant conclusion, Cecilia, right? And the dragon is slain. And like, that's the first part of the movie we're watching is the end. Who would do that? Who would do that? I've been waiting to see this movie. And like, it's supposed to be this blockbuster hit or whatever. And I'm watching the end of the movie. The cat's out of the bag, man. I already know the ending. Well, this sucks. Actually, no, it doesn't suck. When we're talking about in your life. Because now I know the end of the movie. And we can run lots of movies. How many people have only watched one movie in their life? Okay, we're going to watch this movie. And it's called Me Reaching This Goal. That's the movie. Okay, now I saw the end of the movie. I reached the goal. Spectacular. Now, let's back up the videotape. And let's watch the rest of the drama that leads up to it. And now we get to be the observer in our own lives, knowing what the end of the movie is. Is this always easy? No, it's not always easy, right? Because it's very seductive, all the drama and the perils. It's perilous, peril, right? And we're going through the peril and the hero almost dies and holy crap, but we already know the end of the movie. We just got to remember the end of the movie. Again, keep the carrot in your face. You know what's going to happen. You know. And look, there's a gradient scale of knowing this. At the bottom, we could say ignorance, I know not, I know nothing, right? At the top, we could say total enlightenment. I'm not there yet. Okay, but I guess that exists. And then up the hill, we got hope, meh, right? That gets a meh. Belief, better. Yeah, belief. Yeah, good. Knowing. Oh, now we're doing something here. Knowing. Experiential knowledge, putting ourselves in the shoes of that person in advance, being that person in advance. This is unreasonable. We're going beyond reason. Reason is limited based on what we already know. I know that I should not walk out in front of a speeding car because it will destroy my body. That is good reason based on what I already know. Hooray, I get to survive. Okay, so to go beyond that though, beyond reason, we've got to use some higher mental faculties, intuition, imagination, perception, will. We're going to talk about that more here in this chapter. George Bernard Shaw said, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Unreasonable. That's what we got to get with ourselves. I've been so damn reasonable. Anybody else here being reasonable with yourself? Well, I'm not sure how to do it, so let me just back down into safety. Yeah. Okay. I can't go to that next plateau while maintaining the previous plateau. I've got to jump. Unreasonable. You guys ever seen like Cirque du Soleil? I know some of us are going to be getting together in Vegas this autumn. right? Like that's like not reasonable what they're doing. These guys are, I think, crazy. I mean, I can't do that. Now of course they've trained for years, and that's like their life's work. Okay, I hear is Ingrid here? We've got a professional violinist in our midst, right? And she can make music with that instrument. I can make noise, right? But my goodness, and she's got $100,000 violin that's being custom built for right now, which, by the way, is not even a high ticket instrument. But you can go spend $1 million, I suppose. Okay, but compared to, I got like a $900 thing from Romania. It sounds just as good with me playing it as the $100,000 thing would, because it sounds like shit either way. But because I don't know how to play it. But she has taken that skill to an unreasonably high level. Huge difference, and she knew she could do it. That's the thing. There was no internal stops on that. She already saw the end of the movie. Okay, that's not her only skill, by the way. We've got many talented people here in this group. But where does this so-called security come from? Does it come from like a job or something, or like somebody already gave you credit or acknowledgement, like externally? No, it comes from knowing that you're powerful in your use of thought and that you're willing to take whatever actions are necessary, back to the idea of going to any lengths to not be denied that which you know is already yours. I will not be denied. That is seeking me at least as much as I am seeking it. So if we adopt that thought, if we say, all right, cool, I'm going to own that. I'm going to own that. This thing that keeps showing up in my life, this thing that for some reason I seem to get obsessed with. Okay, so it's seeking me as much as I'm seeking it. So it's like the universe is conspiring for me to have that experience. So let me not stop that or continue to like Q&A with that. Let me go headlong into it. Again, I'll quote Napoleon Hill, where he says you get like a white hot obsession for your purpose, a white hot obsession. Great. I will not be denied that desire. Seeking ye shall find is a true statement. But, it's a big but, what about my circumstances? What about all the stuff that suggests to me that I can't? Well, I'm not sitting here telling you to deny that your current circumstances exist. What I'm saying is that let's put those where they belong, in the effect pile. Really what we're talking about with this whole chapter, and really the whole book, is what Ralph Emerson called the law of laws, which is cause and effect, right? So when we talk about being and doing and having, we're talking about rearranging the cause point and the effect point, and through what via. We're going to cover this more in the book, but if you think about the will, the mental faculty of will, a lot of people think it's to force myself to stop procrastinating or something. No, the purpose of the will, the mental faculty known as will, is to choose the right thought. And to do that consistently enough, here's your goal card, here's the picture, here's the fitness magazine, here's the Lamborghini, here's the stuff, here's the carrot, to choose the right thought consistently enough that you become emotionally involved in it as if it's already done. Like you already saw the end of the movie, and now you go handle the drama and the mountains become molehills. Because we changed the battery, you see. We got a whole power plant working with us now, and it's called being on purpose, being on a mission. 3 words. If you get 3 words out of the whole book, let it be these 3: be, do, and have. So we look at this. I know a lot of us have been through the Science of Getting Rich here in the book study group. In fact, we did a whole workshop on it. He talked about how different people engaged in the same activities can have totally different results. One gets rich, the other remains poor. Why? Great question. He said, well, the one who gets rich does things in a certain way. In order to do things in a certain way, you've got to think it a certain way. He even capitalized it. He even talked about it like 30 times in the book, the certain way, the certain way, the certain way. I had to look up the words because I didn't know what he was talking about. Certain, definition of, one of the definitions of, the absence of doubt, certainty. That's the certain way. That's the way of no doubt. That's the way of being before you do and doing before you have. Because here's the same business activities. Here you go. Here you go, Catherine. Here's the training that you were so desperate to have. You've all got it now. And why is your result so much better than the other guy who will try? There's that word, right? Oh, well, it's Catherine showing up to do the work. Oh, who's Catherine? Well, Catherine will not be denied. Catherine's a friggin' monster. Catherine's on a mission. Catherine's a fire-breathing, 10 million foot tall, God friggin' Zilla, like Bruce Lee, whatever, right? That's Catherine. Oh, well, now I know why she succeeded, right? Same data, same opportunity, totally different result. Because Catherine's got a carrot in her face every single day. How does that feel? Right? Because if we wonder, who am I being? Oh, that's some pretty esoteric shit, John. Who am I being? I don't know. It was a Shakespeare. No, hold on a second. Here's the question to figure out who you're being. How do I feel? How do I feel? Before I pull the trigger, before I execute on the business, before I do whatever, before I instruct my daughter, before I have a conversation with my wife, who's doing it? Oh, someone who knows where there's going. Someone the certain way, the certain person, right? The person with an absence of doubt, the person who's feeling all those things I wrote on my goal card. Oh, gratitude, accomplishment, enthusiastic, happy, grateful. Oh, that's who's showing up to do it. Oh, well, now I know who's doing this. You got to be something before you can do something, right? How do I feel? That's the question. What's the flip side to that? Oh, I'm pissed off. I'm neurotic. I'm like, everything's a problem. Okay, here's the same opportunity. Let's see what happens. The confused mind, it's really hard to make a good decision. So, in fact, I think we brought this up in a recent conversation. The definition of success, according to Earl Nightingale, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So that doesn't mean I've arrived. It just means I know what the end of the movie looks like, and I'm taking deliberate action towards making that real, progressively more and more real in my life. Worthy to who? Worthy to me. Nothing selfish about that. Totally necessary. Totally necessary. I've got to be involved in this. It's my goal. So self-mastery is the greatest game there is, because once you get who you are, you get everything else too. Be, and then do, and then have. So now the doing, right? So it's this person. I was just leaning on Catherine a bit. Thank you, Catherine. So it's this person who's doing the work, right? This is who we're calling on to take the action. What does that person do? Now we can assimilate, because we can model other people, right? Oh, here's this person. They've become very successful in this area. I want to be successful in that area. I don't have to be a pioneer. Hey, let me model what they're doing. Oh, that's nice, right? I don't know about other areas of their life. They may be a total disaster, but in that area, they could be my worthy ideal. All right, here's somebody else in this area, being a father, parenting, whatever it happens to be, right? And we can assimilate this stuff, and we can emerge as the ideal version of Cecilia or Lindsay or whoever, John, right? So we're doing it as the ideal version of us. We get to a point where now we are modeling ourselves, the ideal version of ourselves. Constant reminders, okay, before we pull the trigger, down to the minutia. Like, how do you shake somebody's hand? Now that you're Ishmael, now that you're making the money, right? Here's powerful Ishmael showing up to do the work, having the business meeting, right? How do you look in the mirror, right? What decisions do you make when it comes to capitalizing, the business, or, getting the supplies, right? Do you quibble with the price of success? I mean, you already know the destination. You already saw the end of the movie, right? The certain way, right? So we're doing things differently than the person we were yesterday. It's be and then do. And then we'll have, here's having, hooray. We're shifting the currents immediately. We're shifting the currents. Even if we can't see the currents shifting, we know with our inner eye of understanding, because we're intelligent people and we know how the law works. It's be, do, and have. It always works, always in life. Just look around. And so since we've seen that every thought we've had about who we are and what decisions we've made has yielded a result, be, do, and have, it always works. Okay, great. So now we can have faith in our own ability to just hold the right thoughts, make the right decisions, even if we don't know all the drama that's going to occur with them. Okay. And then we know that those circumstances are being shaped indirectly, yet surely being shaped. What did James Allen said in 1902 in his very short book, As a Man Thinketh? We cannot control our circumstances, but we can control our thoughts, and therefore indirectly, yet surely shape our circumstances. This never fails. So how do we fail? We keep pulling up the roots. We keep thinking, oh, I don't see the seedlings growing yet. I planted that seed. Man, this doesn't work. Pull that damn thing up. Let's shake it around and see what's happening with it. Ye of little faith, me of little faith, a lot of times in my life, pulling up the damn seeds. So the work was in the being. That was in choosing the right thoughts. That was the work. The doing, the activities. Here, let's go make some coffee cups and let's go do the e-commerce thing. Let's enroll some people into the shopping club and let's do the contract work with the other guy. Okay, that's the receiving actions. I'm arranging the receiving pipeline. It's called calling my prospect, dealing with the client, getting the bill of lading from the guy with the shipping. Okay, that's the receiving action. That wasn't the work. That was setting up the pipeline to do what? To receive. So, and then, right, what having is pretty much, well, that's done. That's done. I didn't have anything to do with it. So get the equation right. The work is in the being. The receiving is in the doing. The having is not your department, right? That happens automatically. And yet we get so damn obsessed with trying to get, like a rat looking for cheese. Of course, most people do the exact opposite. Well, if I only had better circumstances, well, then I could do the thing and then I would be successful. Guaranteed failure. If circumstances are cause and we are effect, we lose because effects don't create effects. Causes create effects. We've got to get this relationship straight. Again, Ralph called this the law of laws, cause and effect. If you are assigning cause outside of yourself, you're also assigning responsibility outside of yourself. You must lose. You're not in the driver's seat anymore. Now, we can use a couple of tricks on this. This idea of thinking of the end versus thinking from the end. So a lot of people, when they visualize their goals, if they do so, they think of it as some future possibility. Won't it be nice then? We've got to just change one word, of to from. Thinking of the end, like it's apart from us, to thinking from the end, as if the end of the movie's already happened. We already know the guaranteed future outcome. How does it feel? How does it feel? Now, thinking from that position, right? Now we get to go through the drama that leads up to that guaranteed future outcome. Easy? No. Thinking is the hardest work there is. Okay, deal with it. So what's the alternative, right? So let's do it. This is why we've got the mental faculty known as will. This separates us from our pets, right? It's a good mental faculty to have. Most people don't exercise it. Okay. The other trick we can use, right, is just a little bit of a time shift here. So if X is our goal right now, let's start to look at X, thinking from the end. Okay. It's already done. The next step would be, what is my next goal? Can you remember we talked about using relationship as sort of an enhancement to our visualization? Now I'm having the conversation with my wife or whatever. Okay, great. So that makes it more real for me. Okay, what else is going to have to be real for me once I reach goal X? I'm going to have to set goal Y, because look, nothing rests. Like in the universe, we're either creating or disintegrating, right? Our stats are either going up or down. There's no like stasis that maintains itself. All right. So now that I reached X, what's my next goal? Can you think about your next goal now that you've got whatever it is that's on your goal card right now? Can you start thinking of Y? Because X is already a done deal. What is going to be your next goal? Start thinking of that now. So again, we're advancing the videotape. We're thinking from the end of this goal. And now we're thinking our next mission. Better, stronger, faster. Boldly go where no Cecilia has gone before, right? Yeah, do that. Next trick. I got a lot of tricks in this chapter for you. The law of reversibility. This one hit me hard. I got this from Neville. Missy, you know who Neville is. Law of reversibility, right? So if something is true in one direction, it must also be true in the reverse direction. The example I gave here was motion and heat, right? So if motion creates heat, then heat must create motion. Where can we find evidence of that? Okay, well, we rub two sticks together. That's motion. What does that create? Heat, fire, right? You're gonna have to really be good at rubbing sticks together, by the way. So I think you use like I don't know, however they do that, okay? So, but yeah, you can rub your fingers together. You're gonna feel heat. Motion creates heat, right? So where's the evidence of the reverse of that? Well, you go out to your car. I know a lot about cars, right? You turn the key to ignition. There's fire in the combustion chamber. Spark plugs, gasoline, heat. And what does that do? That heat expands, pushes the pistons down, the crankshaft turns. So motion produces heat, therefore heat produces motion. Evidence, sold. What does that mean for us? Well, if reaching your goal and getting all the stuff you wrote on your goal card produces whatever these emotions are, then these emotions must produce that goal. So again, I say be, do, and have. And how do you know who you're being? How do I feel? Use the law of reversibility, right? And if you could stay in that emotional state more consistently, then you fall out of it. And again, none of us are perfect, okay? But that in that expectant, certain state, what decisions are we going to be making, which must lead to the fulfillment of our goals? It's be, do, and have in that order. It always works. But it's work, and it's the work. It's the thinking. All right, that's the thing. So how does anybody fail? Look at your current circumstances. Look at your credit card. Look at your whatever, right? And get emotionally involved in that. The weight, the reading on the scale, right? Get emotionally involved in that. Circumstances are in control, not you. You lose. Now, of course, the in fact, here's Paul to the Philippians, right? Whatever things are of praise and good report, think on these things. So like, this isn't like a new truth or something. Here's 2,000 years ago, Paul was telling us this. If you study, Christian scripture, there's one example. And we can get into, we even quoted Buddha last week, right? Things that are, good and useful, live by them, right? Don't just believe because some guru told you or something, right? Work it out in your own life and then live by it, right? Actually think on right thoughts. Now, of course, the downside, if there is one, is that you don't get to be a victim anymore. So you can't be cause and a victim. You get to be cause now. Oh, my goodness. Of course, there's pay for being a victim. Anyone who's ever read Dorothea Brand, Wake Up and Live, first 4 chapters of Wake Up and Live are all about the rewards of failure and victimhood and why you love it, right? All the agreement, we get to be really social. It's really something, huh? Yeah. Okay, well, you don't get that anymore, right? In fact, what we'll find is, I quoted Napoleon Hill here, when riches begin to come, they come so quickly and in such great abundance that one wonders where they've been hiding during all those lean years. I've had that experience several times in my life, right? Where it was like force, and all of a sudden I got out of my own way. Other combinations came into being, kind of like what the idea that Catherine brought up, and boom, money, right? Whatever you want. And what's amazing is that I was able to screw it up for so long. It's not amazing that we're able to get what we want. It's amazing that we're able to stall ourselves as much as we have by the force and by forgetting who we are again and again. We could speak in superlatives all day long and still fall way short of our actual abilities. That's not a statement of conceit. That would actually be a statement of humility, honest self-appraisal. You are friggin' awesome. Every single person who's engaged in this conversation, holy crap, right? And yet we're playing such a small game so often in our lives. But I leave you with this. I think we're coming to the end of this chapter. When my internal dialogue directly matches the image of my wish fulfilled, miraculous results happen in my life. When my internal dialogue, we're talking about autosuggestion. This is what Napoleon Hill called the keystone and the arch of the entire Think and Grow Rich philosophy. What I tell myself about myself all day long, whether I know it or not. But when that internal dialogue directly matches the image of my wish fulfilled, too late to fail, I already got it, right? I'm already thinking about why goal because I already got next goal. I'm living from the end. Miraculous. Riches start to come so avalanches of abundance. This, of course, brings up, and I think we're coming towards the end of this chapter, the most powerful wealth creation emotion that I've ever discovered for myself, and it wasn't the first, and that is gratitude. Gratitude. And again, keeping with the idea of thinking from the end, I used an example here right out of the Bible. Okay, so here's Jesus and Lazarus. One of my favorite distinctions about the power of gratitude came from this story. Jesus is raising Lazarus from the dead. And the thing that struck me about this event was when Jesus gave thanks. He said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. Then he said, Lazarus, come forth. A lot of people, I think, kind of glaze over that. The order in which gratitude happened, and then the demonstration, the miracle, right? Gratitude first, demonstration second. Oh, so it wasn't, here's this Jesus guy saying, oh, I hope this works. Hey, maybe you can help me out on this one. I'm not quite sure. Thank you for hearing me. Lazarus, come forth. Gratitude first, demonstration second. Man, now that's pretty lofty stuff, right? I'm certainly not there, okay? But that was, and whether you're into Christian study or not, see how you can use that in your life, right? It's too late to fail. I've already got it. Living in this state comes with practice. It comes with consistency. This is not a Band-Aid. It's work, consistently, consistent. That's how you got to be to do this. Your prayer becomes thank you. Not I want, not I need. Gratitude. We're grateful for what we have, not for what we lack. Thank you becomes your prayer. Consistently consistent with this. And then, oh my goodness. And then I threw in just a couple of things. I don't know if I was just looking for a spot to put this in the book, but I got a reminder as I heard it coming out of my own mouth. It's like, this is the resolve that we consistently have as people of character, as people on a mission, as people with purpose. And I don't need New Year's Day to tell me that it's time to have resolve or something, even though I haven't had it all year. Suddenly I'm going to have it. Yeah, bullshit. Right. So there you go. Resolve consistently. Now, as Ralph said, of what use to make heroic vows of amendment if the same old lawbreaker is to keep them? In other words, you can't lie to yourself and have this philosophy work for you deliberately in your life. You got to get real. You got to have what was on the cover of the book, integrity. That's everything for this. Otherwise, throw the book in the garbage, whatever. Some good entertainment, I suppose. Simple actions. Make a list of things you are grateful for in your life. I'm not the first guy to tell you to do this. You're probably sick of hearing it. Make a gratitude list, right? Review it every day and feel free to add or to rewrite it. Everybody could do this right now while talking. I could see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Great. 5 physical senses. I'm grateful for those, right? I can think. I've got the ability to communicate and do business. I am amazingly good at this and this and this. I may suck at all these other things, but I am so grateful for my abilities in these areas, right? My wife, my daughter, my colleagues, my friends, this group, grateful. I'm grateful. I have. Now I don't lack, right? Because I'm seeing what I have. Make a list of 3 to 5 beliefs about life which aren't serving you, things that you don't like, and you feel if they were different, you would be more successful. Then write out what the exact opposite would be. So this is like a contrast exercise, right? You get clarity through contrast. And throw out the list of old beliefs and keep the list of new beliefs with your gold card and review it often. So on my goal statement, on my auto suggestion note in my note application in my phone, which is the method I use, I've got my description, right? And then down below that, I've got my affirmations. So here's one, old belief, I have no time. Great, here's my affirmation now. I have plenty of time. And at first, that may not seem accurate, but the truth is I got the same 24 hours you got. So who the hell am I to sit around bemoaning having no time? Old belief, I can only do so much. New belief, I can accomplish anything. Okay, I could accomplish anything. That doesn't mean I could accomplish everything, but I could accomplish anything. So I got to choose, right? So you see, I can only do so much. You see the difference there? I can accomplish anything. It's a much more positive statement. Start telling yourself that over and over and over again. Start believing it, right? And then you'll start knowing it because you'll start seeing evidence, because we've all got confirmation bias, right? What I'm saying is that we can actually use confirmation bias to our own advantage, right? Rather than just being the effect of it, we can start being deliberate about it. You know what? I can accomplish anything. Oh, look at that. I just accomplished something I'd never done before. I guess that's right. I believe that even more now. Now I know it. So again, we're going up that gradient scale of knowing this, from ignorance to enlightenment. What time is it? Crikey. My friends, I love that we're doing this together. This is the first time it's ever happened on planet Earth. So I'm going to stop talking. We're going to cover a couple more chapters in this next couple of weeks. The floor is open. You guys got some more ideas you want to share. I think Ingrid had to run. We love you, Ingrid. Okay. Who else has some ideas you want to share about anything we just covered? I know Missy, or was it Missy? You wanted to talk a little bit about the whole be, do, and have thing. I know that had some impact for you, and Cecilia.
Well, it's just we do have the living from the end. And one of the greatest things you said in the book was nobody's ready. Because I have stepped back so many times in my life because I thought, I don't know how to do that. Because I would never take the step. That's how you know how to do it. You just start the step. And the living from the end, if I could suggest to everybody what he suggests, you don't look at yourself when you're picturing this. You're looking through your own eyes. And if you're in a car, you look like you should try to feel the steering wheel. You should try to smell something. Have a drink of water, see if you can taste it. If you can get your senses, and this does happen. It took me months and months and months to accomplish it, but it does happen, and that's what makes it real. If you could feel a wall, if you could get your senses working in your imagination and actually smell, feel, touch, that is living in the end, and that makes it come quicker. And it's hard to start, but once you do it, you can do it. And saying to people, nobody's ready. I don't know why I didn't know that, but I just thought, I guess I was different. But thank you for saying it. It helped me a lot.
Thank you. So glad you're here, my friend. Cecilia, you got some thoughts on that, and then we'll go to Fred. Hey, Cecilia.
Yes. So I was just thinking, like, I probably am like one of the perfect examples of this, as far as like growing through the years and like increasing my income from one job to the other. And then now, since I've worked the same job for 15 years, every year it has been a growth to where, you know, I did hit the last 2 years, not because of the pandemic, but the other following years. Like I hit the 100,000 mark, you know, and I was grateful for that. But like in the beginning, nothing really gets you, I guess, into that gear of like, you gotta do it until you have a kid, you know. It's like, you have to do it, you know, you have to get up there. So I actually used to write down my budget, but I was just like, I would plan like, this is what I want for her, this is what I want for us, you know. And I would say, okay, and she's a baby, and I'm including her wedding and her sweet 16 and her graduation and, you know, having the house. And so like, I just made a budget, like how much money I'm going to have to make. And then I'm like, okay, I have to make $4,000 a month. And I'm like, but taxes, that means I got to make more than 4,000 to cover the taxes. And actually I did get to that point where I was making, you know, a little over $1,000 a week. So, you know, and that's take home. So I guess, you know, like now, you know, it gets me excited because I'm like, okay, I did it, even not even knowing it. I'm just looking through the books and I'm like, oh, this is what I said I needed and I did it, you know, so I'm looking forward to the next growth.
Beautiful. Thank you, my friend. And it's something how that just raising that necessity level kind of gets those excuses out of the way, right? Introduce children. Yeah. Not just you anymore, and not selfish at all, right? Go reach those goals. Hey, Fred, you got some thoughts, my friend?
Just a question. In part of the last part of that chapter, you were talking about the difference between believing you're being and knowing you're being. How do you not kid yourself that you're still not just believing, but that you actually know that you've been in the be phase, or however you want to state that?
Okay, so it comes down to emotion. So you're consciously aware of your emotional state. Okay, so if somebody says, "How you doing, Fred?" You probably don't say, "Oh, I'm consciously aware that I'm in a negative vibration," or that I'm in a positive. Right? You say, "Oh, I feel good," or "I feel like crap today." Right? So something like that. So when we know that, it's not something we have to conjure up or somehow get on some belief system or, you know, read a bunch of philosophy about. We just know. Okay, so that's the position from which we want to operate. So whatever we've got to do to put ourselves into that elevated emotional state on a more consistent basis, that's the real Fred that's showing up to do this, right? I don't know if that answers your question, but I think maybe you added a couple of words in there. So it's be, do, and have. And in my mind, how I know who I'm being how do I feel at that moment before I pull the trigger? Who's doing it?
Okay.
Oh, I feel grateful. I feel confident, right? So it's not like a belief thing. It's just a being thing.
Right, because it seemed to me that being is the hardest part of that chapter. Everything follows after that. But knowing exactly your goals and all that, to me, that's the whole work. So that's why I was wondering, how are you not kidding yourself when you say, I know this? I guess are you still struggling to get there, or do you actually know it? And so that helped by saying, how do I feel? I guess that's something I missed in there.
Right. So there it is. It's just in present time. And you can also assess most consistently throughout the day. I feel empowered, on purpose, enthusiastic, grateful, accomplished, certain, right? Whatever the words are powerful for you, right? But how do we keep that consistently or more consistently as who we're being before we do the work? The other work, the physical
Right.
work, the chopping the wood or whatever, right? It's all on the goal card. It's the carrot in front of our face at all times, knowing that I'm going to have that carrot. I'm going to have that carrot. Oh, it feels great, right? So as that guy, all right, now go make your decisions, right? Now you're playing to win. Now you're on a mission, right? So that's what we're talking about in that chapter. And look, Fred, I have not arrived, man. All these circumstances and limitations and ugly stuff, man, life, planet Earth, circumstances. Yeah. Stop. So this is what did Waddle say in The Science of Getting Rich? Thinking truth is laborious and requires the expenditure of more energy than any other work that man is capable of. This is especially true when truth is contrary to appearances. What did he mean by that? When truth, who I am and where I'm going in life, is contrary to appearances. Now, thinking truth is really hard because look at all this crap, right? So, and hopefully we turn our gaze from, whatever initially motivated us to get off our ass and do something to where we're going, because it's way more inspirational to move toward what we want than just out of what we don't want. But man, is that seductive. Oh man, look at that crap. Right? Oh, let's complain and let's bitch and gripe. Don't you agree? You agree too. This sucks. Yeah, fight. Right? Oh man. Oh, and I've done that so much in my life. To what end? We get to sit around and agree about how everything sucks. So I don't know. That may sound extreme to you, Fred, but man,
No, I'm afraid I've been there.
yeah, we get to be social. Yeah, give me another beer. So,
Exactly.
Right. All right, brother.
Nice.
Glad you're here. Welcome, Fred. All right. Anybody else? Linda, great session, John. Thank you. You're so welcome, Linda. And Daisy. All right. Good to see you all. It looks like a couple people had to run. Ishmael, Virginia, Julia. All right, guys. We'll get back together next week. 2 more chapters. We'll see where it goes. Probably fun, right? I mean, we're just taking this stuff as it comes. So I'll see you guys back here next week. In the meantime, for those of you who are in our mastermind group, of course, we'll see you on general session tomorrow morning. All right, guys, have a great night.